You look official, Matt.
I look cool?
You look very official. 342.
Bree pinned it up for me. Thank goodness.
Got the bike all good to go.
Yeah,
Bree's here
ready.
for support, of course.
I just
dog Bree.
just forgot my bathroom in the toilet.
You forgot your bathroom in the toilet?
Phone in the bathroom.
Oh, that's not good.
I knocked on the door and some dude comes out. He's like, "Your phone?" I was like, "Thank God, dude."
That would be bad.
But
all right, well,
I'm excited.
Look official.
This is fun.
What's the temperature right now, BK? Would you say?
Like 43,
Oh, yeah, I was
44-ish.
thinking
Yeah, it's definitely
chilly and it's windy.
It is a little breezy.
Wind sucks.
Yeah, it is
And
cold.
the course is wet. The grass is super like plush right
So it's a
now.
lot better than yesterday's turnout, right?
Yeah, this is going a lot smoother than yesterday for sure. There's actually people here. It's like 100 and
If
something
you guys
signed
look,
up.
like there's a full parking lot. It's just so cool to see all the bikes everywhere.
119 people.
Everybody that's on the trainers getting ready, and the course is going on right over here. Matty's gonna go get ready
I
for
gotta
this
go do my
lap.
first
So.
practice lap and figure out my line.
Cool.
Then I have one more race until it's go time.
All right. Well, me and BK are gonna explore. Have fun.
All right.
Practice lap. Go for it. So you can see this tape that goes around this whole course. Like, I know you guys can't see it from here, but like up in those woods, the course goes. And it gets kind of crazy over here. This is the whole thing about Cyclo-Cross. There's a lot of obstacles that are in the way. They got these planks right here that the guys have to get over. Nice, Matt. Good form. Figure I'd give you guys a close-up look on the sand section. So he's going to be coming through here, and it's either you have to ride through here, which is definitely not going to be easy by any means on those skinny tires going through it. So I think Matty getting off and running is a smart move. So he's got to do it like 8 times though, which is crazy. So Matty's finishing up his practice lap right now, and then we're going to talk to him and see, you know, how it went, what's going to be hard, what's going to be easy. How'd it go?
Fixed.
What do you mean?
No, I don't know.
Oh man,
That's one lap, dude.
One lap, and that thing is so beat up.
This might be the most difficult sport that I've ever done.
Seriously.
I put like 60% effort in for like 2 straightaways. I got on the car like,
It was that bad?
Okay, well, this is one lap.
Yeah.
That's the race.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
and the
that's crazy,
corners
guys.
are
Look at
so drowned out.
this. This bike just came from a whole race right there.
You just
and
deal
it
with
is
it.
just
That's it.
completely mucked up.
You ride through it and you deal with it. There's
What?
there's no avoiding it. I watch so much like GCN. They tell you to pick a line, and there's no picking
So
a line. The
what
only
was-
line is mud.
What was the hardest part of the course, would you say?
The hardest part's corners for sure.
Well, which corners in general? Like,
Corners out there are all really tight corners, and
are the grass corners slippery?
yeah,
Do they
that's the
feel
thing. They're
like
like they're about 75% grass, and they're all caked with tire marks and mud. So you can't find a good line, and when you get in them, you go like, 10 miles per hour to 0, and then you have to crank out of it, and you're just doing burnouts. Like you just I look like I'm on a dirt bike just skidding in there, and
It's so crazy.
You just like throw in all your power, barely get anywhere, and then have to hit the brake again to go around the next corner.
Did you have to get off your bike in the woods at all?
Twice? No,
Twice?
not in the woods. Not in the
So
woods. I didn't have to.
Okay, good. Are you going to clean it before the next
Yeah, I
round?
was hoping there's a hose or something.
I think there is somewhere.
I just got to hose it off. Because
Let's go figure that
Dude,
out.
I'm clanking and
'Cause
clicking.
How much time do we got till you go?
Got about
What's-
40 minutes.
Until you go. So they're about to start a race right now or something?
lining up.
That's a race. If you want to see a start rate,
Yeah, let me go start real quick. Guys, look how crazy this is. This is ridiculous. Oh my goodness. So I don't know how many people are going to be in Matty's, but this is pretty crazy. Killing time here on the playground setup. Matty's getting ready to stage. He's very nervous right now, guys. Extremely, extremely nervous. Tic-tac-toe, Bree versus BK.
Alright guys, I am now in the corner of your screen, and the reason I'm here is because I'm going to be talking you through the most hectic 45 minutes of my life. So we actually decided to get pretty creative with this one, and we split 5 laps that I did up into 5 different sections, and they're all on 5 different pieces of the course, so you can see exactly what went down in this race. So we're just nearing the beginning of the race right now, and by now I'm already feeling anxious, I should say. I'm so excited for my first race, and there's just so many people around me that already look like they know so much more about this sport than I do, so you could tell that I was kind of hesitant when I should go or what I should be doing at this point, but the dude next to me actually made it pretty easy on me, and he was laughing at my jokes I was trying to tell to him, and he made it a little bit easier going. So when you hear that whistle, it's go time. All I know is get clipped in and pedal as fast as possible, and I love that guy's blue tires, and that's exactly what I thought at this point in the race. So I'm getting squeezed in and elbowed by this other guy next to me. And I didn't know, as far as rules, what you could do. Can you elbow, push? I don't know. I want to be respectful. But the course is crazy because if you see on the ground all those ruts, that's actual like what they call peanut butter mud. I heard that term a lot. And it's thick mud that these little tires just can't pedal through properly. And so as you see, the first lap looks pretty fast. I felt like I was going at a pretty good pace, and I'm already ahead of everybody in my class. So I ran the Cat 5, and I was ahead of everyone in that. So now I'm joining into the other group right now, and here you can see is my first time jumping hurdles. That dude flew past me. I don't know what he was on, or probably some performance enhancing drugs, but that's besides the point. I got back on the bike and heading into this.
I was on performance.
You know, it's a lie. It's definitely a lie, but he was so much faster than I was, dude. I don't know how to get over the hurdles properly. And as you can see what just happened, I passed about 3 people in the sand section because they all decided to try and ride it.
Ooh.
Think smarter, not harder. Oh, the mud was terrible. I'm sitting there making remarks and nobody's laughing because everyone's so focused on what they're doing. But I'm like, this stuff is nasty. Look at these puddles. What are we doing? I'm saying all this random stuff during the race. But by now, my heart rate is probably already higher than it's ever been in my whole entire existence. And I just realized I have 44 more minutes of this. This section is kind of like my worst nightmare. You could look on the ground and you could hear it right now. It is splashing everywhere, the thickest mud ever. Nobody's getting anywhere. Everyone's trying to pedal. I'm trying to do this little trickery by riding in the grass on the side as close as I can to the barrier.
Did it actually work?
It worked, dude. I got through it pretty good, and that was lap 1, and it only gets much worse from here. So we fast forwarded onto the next lap, but what the actual course is gonna be. So that was my fastest lap time though. That was 8 minutes and 6 seconds, and I think I came out swinging. I went as fast as I possibly can because I heard it's good to get ahead of everyone. And it just slows down from here, it gets bad. So we're coming up on this hill and it is so muddy. You could see I'm pedaling slower. I couldn't breathe already. It's already getting so much more difficult, and this is the most technical part of the course. You could hear it. I'm breathing like I've never breathed before, and this thing I dreaded right here. This steep hill, I couldn't get any traction.
What about it?
Because you could see all the turns and all the little hills on it. It's so hard. Like, you could hit your brakes all you want and you're just sliding around the corner, slushing in the mud. And this is only lap 1, and I knew that it was only gonna get worse from here in each corner. So like, look at this stuff. I'm trying everything I can to just get in the little grass sections on the side. Couldn't make anything happen. I finally get this little break on the sidewalk. This is where I was like, my coach / cousin Joey told me to breathe out all the carbon dioxide on these little sections that I can. So I tried my best to do that, and it helped. But right here, I'm coming back into what's parallel with the starting and finish line. And this is where everybody was kind of standing, and it was kind of a cool spot because it was really muddy and they could tell you're struggling. So they cheer you on by ringing these little bells that just get you all types of hyped up. So a little more pavement riding, thank goodness, because I sure needed it, and this was bad right here. So I'm coming back onto the course, and right here, I didn't know, but it is like a foot deep of mud, and there's roots under this. I didn't know if you could hear it, but I bottomed out my rim 4 laps out of 5. I also realized that I didn't put enough air pressure in my back tire, and I had about 15 PSI by the time at the end of this. So here is a really tough section though. This is when you get into the woods, and the toughest part is that it's all roots and rocks and just stuff that's really hard to ride over. And you could see my lap time is 8:49 compared to my 8:06. And that's the second lap that was just like, you could see it got so much slower than the first one. But I guess I was just trying to find my pace, and it was getting so much harder to breathe now that like, I just couldn't get anything in or out. I was just kind of focused on not dying. And somebody told me that you're gonna wanna feel like you wanna give up at the 20-minute mark. And I remember I looked down when I wanted to give up, and it was only at 9 minutes. And I then realized this is gonna be the hardest day of my life. So you can see I had a couple people that were in front of me, and I was trying to chase them down all I can, but it's really hard when you can't breathe and you're now losing focus of what the heck you're doing, and you kind of regret the decision of getting into this thing. But check out all these roots and rocks that like I'm trying to jump over, and you gotta remember you're on a very rigid road bike, so it's not the easiest thing to do. You think it's really easy on a mountain bike until you get on one of these things. And by the way, everything is so caked in dirt and mud that my gears aren't shifting properly, and I'm trying to do everything that I can. But luckily, this is like one of my favorite parts because I know this is just a nice downhill section. So by now, I'm already like just kind of pedaling to look for show and trying to breathe so nice and easy.
With the cold air, did that affect the way you breathe? Like, was it like sharp? feeling?
Yeah, the cold air was tough. It kept tickling like my lungs, I felt like. And I feel like it's even affecting me today, you know, post-race. It's so tough. But this is, oh, yeah, this has a bad rock that was sticking out, and I actually chipped my crank on it and unclipped. It was a mess. I'm glad nobody saw it because I felt like such a beginner. I pedaled at the worst spot ever. But here is like the second, well, I would say the longest hill of the whole entire course through these rocks and everything. I was flying. I felt so fast going down this thing, and every single time I thought I was going to slide out. And that's the thing, is you can't come into these turns too fast because you will slide out. I only had a 33 millimeter tire on, so it's really, really tiny. There's like no grip. And this part's cool because if we're gonna fast forward past it, you'll probably see it in the next one. But this dude cheered me on every single time in that spot. Every single time. So lap 3, 8 minutes and 48 seconds, which means I cleared it by 1 second compared to my last lap. You know what? As long as we're going down in time, that's a good sign. I would say that's a job well done. But you don't understand how hard it is when you are breathing to the point where you don't feel like you're getting any oxygen in or out. Like, you're fatiguing, your legs hurt, your arms hurt. My neck and shoulders are so sore at this point from leaning over, and there's just nothing else on the handlebar to grab. You have to be on the brakes, you have to be ready. So now we're coming up the hill to, like I said, one of the corner marshals. He's the man up here. He was rooting for me every single lap, telling me how far ahead I was, how far the other guy was. He was the man. You can probably hear him talking. He's like, good pace, man. Keep the speed up. And here is where I felt most at home. I saw a transition right here, and I was like, woo! And then you go into what I call the worst nightmare of my life. So the next 4 turns are the nastiest, muddiest, thick grass sections ever. You're just doing burnouts. I felt like I was Tokyo drifting for the last 4 sections, and by now I finally learned to get off of the bike. You don't need to ride it. The cool thing about cyclocross is if you're a fast runner, you can just run for 5 laps. You don't even need to ride a bike. Luckily, I'm a little bit of a better bike rider than a runner, but I already passed the dude just by getting off of the bike. Like, that's what it took. Now I'm watching this dude, thank goodness, because I thought I was the only one who felt like that. And he gave me the courage to keep going and keep pushing. So he was like a pretty fast rider. I don't know what the deal was or where he came from, but he's fast, and he got me back up to pace. So the rest of the time, I was kind of chasing nobody. I was just going through it by myself, and I felt like I was slowing down because I just didn't have anyone to chase after. It's easier when you play cat and mouse. You go back and forth a lot. So following this dude, and I saw somebody crash right there earlier. They flipped the bars because there was a giant rock in the way. That was bad news, dude, really bad. So we're coming back onto the beach, and I actually enjoyed this section. I felt really good here because it wasn't the loose sand on the beach. Like, it was actually really packed down. I don't know how this is even like this, but they should have did the same thing to the other sand pit. That would have helped a lot, but we're about to zoom in, or about to speed it all up pretty soon. Just because this part was just kind of like my breathing point. This is kind of where I felt like I could kind of catch up to pace a little bit. And like I said, I was following this dude, and he was fast. He was pushing me to the edge, but I just wanted to pass him just to say I did. So lap 4 was 8 minutes and 47 seconds, which I went down another second. And that's pretty good, because when you're breathing that much harder and you wanted to quit after lap 1, it's pretty cool to see that I was actually getting a little faster each lap. I guess I was just finding the right lines and everything, but I can't express how hard it is to breathe during these events. And I thought my endurance was good, and it's not. Like, I now realize that I'm not the athlete I thought I was. I'm very mediocre. So I am so fatigued at this point. I don't even feel like moving my legs, and you just kind of get stuck in the motion. I just know you have to keep pedaling. The only way you're gonna get a drink is by going in, or the only way you're gonna get drinks by finishing the lap. So I have 1 more lap to go after this. It was a 5-lap race, and the most stressful 5 laps of my existence. But when you know there's only like 1 more lap, which I didn't actually know that. I kind of thought there was 2, but when you know there's only 1 more lap, you start to put a little pressure on yourself, because you're just like, get this done. This is gonna suck. You're getting mad. This woman I'm kind of having a conversation with. I'm telling her how good she's doing and stuff. I just felt like maybe she'd let me slide past her, which it was way more difficult than I thought it was gonna be. But I'm looking at her tires, they're all caked up, and I'm like, Dang, this is a bad race. This is a bad first race.
You got it.
But this was always a good feeling. Coming around this bend and knowing that the finish line was only 2 turns away was definitely something to ease the pain that you're going through. So with only 1 lap left, right now you should hear like a bell pretty soon. And that tells you that you only have a little bit of time left or whatever. I think you hear it pretty soon. I don't know.
Done?
Yeah, that's when the guy told me you're done. He's like, you're done. I was like, what? And he's like, you're done. So acknowledge that. Lap 5 was 8 minutes and 48 seconds. So pretty much the exact same time for 4 laps, which I don't know how I did that. But
That's probably the hardest thing I've ever done.
it was the hardest thing I've ever done. I'll be honest with you guys. I was so beat and I was so fatigued that all I wanted was a drink. I just wanted to go back to the car and relax. I'm just so glad I got it over with and I was able to say that I did my first cyclocross race. So now you'll get to see my reaction from the other camera that Scotty was holding the whole time. And you'll get to see what my bike looked like through this race. It was disgusting.
I can't believe it, dude. Let's just get a check-in on this bike right now.
This is no joke.
Derailleur, not so bad, but the center is a mess.
That
Look
was,
at his
it's like
clips.
doing all this crazy clicking and throbbing and making these obnoxious noises. Pretty sure my chain popped and went back on. Like it caught and then was like, I was like, oh,
no.
sick.
How do you feel right now, physically? You don't sound that out of breath.
You know what? It just burns.
Just burns.
I'm not out of breath. It's just like the CO2 buildup. I don't know. Just like it's burning my lungs right now. But after about lap 1, I sat here and I thought, screw this.
Really?
I
You thought, screw this.
It was like that feeling of, I don't feel like doing for whatever more laps. It's just like the most physically tasking thing I've ever done, but I'm so looking forward to more.
It looked like a nightmare.
And now I know what I need to work on. I look like I'm jumping through tulips when I go over those little boards. I'm like, oh, everyone's like, like that. And I'm like, like that's what I felt like.
Well,
Like, this is embarrassing.
I'm excited to see how you did, man. This
I'm
is gonna be
excited too.
this is gonna be fun. 'Cause
that was sick.
There's a lot of people riding. It's hard to figure it out.
That was hard. Very, very hard.
Let's see what happens.
Lots of respect to all the people out here today because that was serious.
It was.
And in first place, Matty Cranmer.
I can't believe it. Matt just won his first non-BMX event.
This is great. I've got like 3 awards in my whole lifetime of riding BMX. First time riding cyclocross, your boy comes home with a log.
That's pretty awesome.
Check that
Good
out.
for you, man.
I think I hit this exact one, and my sprocket might have cut this. This might be that piece. So.
That's
hyped up, though. That's
awesome,
awesome.
man. That's got to feel
That's a big
pretty good for you.
accomplishment.
It is a very big
It was
accomplishment.
worth the pain and agony for 40 minutes or 45 minutes.
So Matty did it. He ended up winning his division, and that's so crazy to say. I'm just so happy that Matty is just finding something that he enjoys on a bike. I know it's not a BMX bike, but he absolutely loves it, and it was so cool to check it out. So huge thank you to the people that ran this event, the guys that did this Beast Cross. Amazing event. It's a lot better than the one that Matty went to yesterday. I can promise you that. But guys, that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this bike video. I know it's not BMX, but we want to do other videos in the future that involve bikes that aren't BMX because we just love being on 2 wheels. So guys, we'll see you in the next video. Peace.